Hi Phil, how you going?
Not too bad, Pato. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Congratulations on your 119-yard world record.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Thanks.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with it.
Yeah. So I think it was shortly after 22 at the Sat Champs. You changed your Instagram name from 5K a day to Phil Gore Ultra Runner or whatever it is
Yep.
now. So a lot of new fans to the backyard ultra world might not know that you were once known as the 5K a day guy. But looking back at those 5K a day days, how important were those building you into the runner you are today?
Yeah, I think that's really what helped build my foundations. It just like I used to be quite a sporadic runner, and the reason I did that 5K a day was to just make me focus on consistency. So just make sure that I got out there and run no matter what. Doesn't matter if it was too hot or too cold, or I didn't have enough time, or I wasn't feeling great, or whatever the excuse I had. I just made sure I got out there for at least 5Ks. Um, like I kind of stuck with that for a good, I think it was just over 3 years before I had to break the streak because I went away for army training. Um, but yeah, as soon as I was back from that, I was straight back into it. And it's something that I still do to this day. There have been a couple of times where I've had to stop because I've done a really big event and I just literally have not been able to move the next day.
Mm.
But pretty much as soon as I'm able to run again, I just get straight back into it. But I've had a really good, like the last kind of 2 years almost. So pretty much since Bigs, like Bigs was the last time where I had to stop running after an event. All the events I've had since then. So like the 24-hour runs that I've done, the 96 hours at Sat Champs, the 81 hours at Sydney, the 100 miler in Taiwan, all of those runs I've still been able to get out and run the next day.
Mm.
And yeah, I think it just really helps with my consistency and just building those habits. So
Mm. The other thing I was wondering about, as far as like building consistency and things like that, and enjoying running, is it looks like you like to gamify your running, like the run streak thing. It looks like you used to do a bit of Strava art as well a few years ago. You do
yeah,
a bit of charting, and it looks like you've started like segment hunting on Strava too. So, like, do you think you would have got this deep in running if it wasn't, if all this technology wasn't around?
I think I still would have, but I definitely think that it's helped. Even just like the social side of Strava, being able to see what other people are running and kind of having that feedback, being able to give to your mates and see what they're running and commenting on each other's runs. I think that definitely helps. But yeah, I think at the core of it, if you take all that away, I would still be running every day. Um, but yeah, it makes it a little bit interesting sometimes. Like sometimes I'm trying to decide, where should I run today? Because I've run pretty much every street within like a 20K radius of my home.
Yeah.
I've run like every single trail. So sometimes it's like I'll look up an area and I'll be like, oh, there's some segments here, and let's just map out a run that
Yeah.
goes through those segments. And I kind of use that as like interval training.
Hmm.
So when I've got the segment there, I'll run through the segment and then jog in between up to the next one.
Yeah. Is that a new thing you've started doing? Because I've only just noticed recently that you've been like, like noting down when you're like running fastest time on segments and stuff.
Like I kind of just do it every now and then. So I have done a few of them recently, but this is something I was doing, when I first kind of got back into running. So like yeah, like going back 10 years,
Oh,
and it's just it's not something I do regularly. It's just every now and then. It's like I just feel like doing something a little bit different. And um, the ones that I've done recently, I was actually wanting to do like a lot of hill intervals. And instead of just running up and down the same hill 20 times, I just thought, well, I'll go to a hilly suburb and I'll find the segments that are on the hills and I'll use that to push myself on and just make it a little bit more interesting.
yeah, yeah. What about local legends? Are you into local legends too, or just mainly the segments?
Yeah, normally just the top of the segment leaderboard.
Yeah.
There's a few local legends that I'll just always have because like that's the way that my commute goes or something like that. But yeah, if someone comes and takes it from me, I'm not too fussed. I kind of just let them have it. But if someone takes my crown, it kind of does give me a bit of incentive to get back out there and try and get it back.
Yeah. I haven't checked, but you would definitely be the local legend at Dead Cow Gully, and I reckon you're probably close to the fastest time around that course as well. Do you know if that last loop you did, if that was the fastest? Oh, there might be.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe for this event, I don't know. Did Sam Harvey do his fast first lap this time?
Nah, but I think he did do it a bit faster than that a couple of years ago with his
Yeah,
first. Yeah.
yeah. So I don't think it would be the fastest ever, but maybe the fastest for this event. I don't know. I wasn't really keeping track of what
Yeah.
times other people were doing. I didn't actually look at the crowns
Yeah.
for afterwards. But yeah, I think with the local legend, I think me and Sam would have run the same amount of day laps, so we'd
Yeah.
have the equal number of things for that. But yeah, I'd definitely be on that list somewhere.
Yeah. So Dead Cow Gully was the second backyard ultra you've run this year. The first was Sydney's, and that was in April. But in March, you ran and won a 100 miler in Taipei. And reading the race report afterwards, it's pretty clear that there wasn't smooth sailing for you. So, can you give me a bit of a rundown of how hard that race in Taipei was?
Yeah, so yeah, obviously the point to point's not my forte, but it is still something I love to do. And I was given this opportunity to go over to Taiwan and run in this race, so I didn't really want to give up that opportunity. And yeah, it was all pretty smooth sailing until I think about the 60k mark. And then I just started having these different problems that just started compounding, like it just started all happening at once. So I did start, I started peeing blood, which is something I don't really take lightly, and it's not something I would suggest to other people to push through. But it wasn't accompanied by any other symptoms. So I thought I'd just back off the pace, like take it easy, focus on hydration and see if it improves. And I did tell myself, like there was that halfway checkpoint at about 80 Ks, I think. And I said, if I get there and I'm still having problems, that'll be a good spot to pull out. Like I didn't want to obviously risk my health just for this race. But at the same time, it's like I've come a long way to come and do this. I don't want to give up too quickly. And then I had the issue with the nausea, which I don't normally get nausea. But then I did get it pretty bad at this one. And I think by the third time I threw up, it was just so violent. And I was like, I don't know if I can continue like this. I'm not getting any food in me. I'm not going to have enough energy to get to the end at this rate. And I kind of just had to channel my inner Sean Bell. And I just thought of all the times I was out there crewing for him and he would just throw up on the side of the road and then just get up and keep going and still get the 80 Ks done for the day. So I was like, the way that I'm feeling now isn't as bad as what he would have been feeling. So I just kind of got on with it. And then the other thing that was just happened at the same time was my headlamp died, but I was prepared for that and I had a battery backup. But then the cable had been damaged, so then I couldn't charge it. I got to the 80k aid station. That was the one where I was thinking, if I need to pull out, I will. But my urine had started clearing up, so I was like, well, that's not an excuse to stop now. And then someone was able to lend me a battery pack or a cord that I could charge my lamp for like 10 minutes while I was sitting there. And then so when I went to leave, it said I had full battery. I'm like, well, that's odd. Like it was only like 10 minutes it was on charge for. And it said it was full battery. And then like 50 meters down the road, it just went to the reserve light setting anyway. I was like, oh, here we go. But I managed to get through until sunrise on that backup light. And I did have the torch on my Garmin as well, which helped me in some of the darker spots. So yeah, by the time sunrise came around, all those problems that I'd been having overnight, they just started clearing up, and I caught up to first place, and that kind of gave me a bit of a adrenaline boost. And the part that I thought was going to be the hardest of the course, like there was just this section which had like I think 800 meters of elevation in like 10 k's or 11 k's or something, and yeah, I just ended up flying up those hills somehow. I just had like this new lease on life, and yeah, ended up finishing pretty good. So
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't throw in the towel when things got tough.
Yeah. Had you ever, or have you ever had that issue with like peeing blood before? Or is that the one and only time?
Uh, yeah, there was an event years ago where I thought that I might have had like a pink tinge in the urine,
Mm.
and so I did back off the pace right back, and kind of monitored it for a bit. And then yeah, that race ended fine, and I had no issues after that. But then the next year when I went to do that race, and I went into the Portaloos, and I noticed the same thing again. And then I realized I don't know if it was a pink tinge in the urine or it was the light coming through the Portaloos, because it was like an orange thing that was making it look like it was an odd color. So I still don't know to this day if I was actually seeing blood in the urine or if it was just the lighting coming through the Portaloo that made it look that way. But yeah, other than that, I haven't. Yeah, it's not really an issue that I've had.
Yeah. Now, that race, like I mentioned, was only like 4 weeks before Sydney's.
Yeah.
So, how did that affect, like such a tough run? How did that affect your confidence going into Sydney's?
Yeah, so I'd normally like to do a pretty long run before like one of my backyards anyway. So kind of anywhere between 80 Ks and 100 miles. So I thought that kind of fit in well as like, yes, it's a training run, but yeah, I'm also going to push it. I think it didn't really affect my confidence. If anything, it was like it made me realize I can go through those depths and still bounce back from it. So I think it was, even though things didn't go my way, it was still showed me what I can get through.
Mm.
And yeah, just so I think I think it helped in that way rather than it didn't really shatter my confidence. It kind of just gave me something to work on.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it was a tough run, but were there any effects from that run that you felt at Sydney's?
No, I think by the time Sydney's came around, I was all good again. Like, yeah, as I said, like I was using it as a training run. May have pushed myself a little bit too hard, but my recovery from my events has been really good lately. So yeah, by the time Sydney came around, I was in great condition again.
Yeah. So Sydney's like did a really good job at attracting really good runners like yourself, Jashi, Ryan Crawford, James Blanton. They were all there.
Yeah.
It was also the biggest backyard ultra in terms of number of participants. So, did the atmosphere and vibe at that race like have a new feeling to it? Like backyard ultras had like kind of reached a new level of popularity or anything like that? Did it feel like having?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it was. It kind of felt like two different races. It was like there was a big social run with everyone, up until like the first 24 hours. And then after that, like, the field had dropped back a bit, and then it became like your typical backyard ultra. But yeah, it did kind of remind me a bit of like when I used to run like the City to Surf and, those road races back in the day when it was just like you didn't have a lot of them on the calendar. There was like one or two big runs a year, and just everyone would sign up for it and, take over the streets. And the whole time you're just running in a crowd. So it did kind of remind me a bit of those sort of events. But yeah, pretty much like I was surrounded by people at any one time. It never really felt like it was too congested. Like the tracks itself, they were pretty wide, and by the time you got to the narrow parts, it was quite far into the course already. So people had kind of spread out a bit. But yeah, it definitely felt like it was a different race, and there were so many like new faces, like people I didn't know before, and people just trying a backyard for the first time, and it was just a really cool atmosphere.
Yeah. Was it Selfie City?
Yeah, there was a lot of selfies. Even just like when I was trying to set up, it's like people just keep coming past and trying to talk to you, and which is fine. Like I've got the time of day for people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just made that setup a little bit longer.
Yeah. From what I could see, it looks like you were as good as ever. How did you rate that performance in Sydney's to your previous run at the Sat Champs?
Um, yeah, I think they were kind of on the same level. Like the Sat Champs was just like everything seemed to go really well. I didn't have any major issues, and I was just able to kind of repeat that at Sydney. I did kind of have a bit of a rubbish first night. Like it was actually to the point even that I was like, how am I going to explain if I don't make it to 24 hours? Because I don't know, I think it was maybe around 10 or 11 o'clock at night. I threw up once and I was like, oh, that's okay. Got it out my system. I'll be able to start eating again, and, we'll just keep moving forward. But then it just didn't get better. I just got more and more nauseous, threw up a few more times. And I wasn't getting the food in. I could feel that affecting my energy levels. So yeah, I was literally at the point like, how am I going to explain this? But yeah, like I just kept pushing through, started eating small amounts, and then the sun coming up kind of gave me that new lease on life again, and yeah, just started improving. And from that point on, like it was really good. It was just that first night was probably one of the worst nights that I've had in the backyard.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, you wouldn't know it by looking at me at the end. It just felt like that was kind of separate from the rest of the race. It was just out of the blue.
Yeah. And I guess experiences like the one you had in Taiwan that would help you know that you can pull through those types of nights.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm just very stubborn as well. I'm like, I'm not gonna stop before 24 hours. Like I'm gonna, and I knew like I've done enough of these events as well that I know like when the sun comes up, things will change and I'll start getting better. But it still sucks at the time, and you're just like, why is this happening to me like so early on? And then you think, oh, if it's like this night, it's going to be even worse the next night. But yeah, it actually got better as the nights went on.
Yeah. And you continued at Sydney with like your like rotating crew. Like I think you had Gemma, Mally, and Tim Moffat crewing you at Sydney's.
Yeah, that's correct. So yeah, I pretty much had two on at any one time, and then yeah, one of them was off sleeping at a time. So it was just a system that worked really well.
Yeah. Now, as far as Dead Cow Gully goes, I mean, the biggest story doing the rounds at Dead Cow Gully on Saturday was around your crewing situation. So, are you able to? Can you please share that story?
Yeah. So I flew in earlier than Gemma, so she was going to stay at work, finish her week at work. She wasn't actually going to come and join me until Sunday morning. So 24 hours into the race. And yeah, she had a flight scheduled for Saturday. So yeah, I'd come in early. I'd come in Wednesday to do all the shopping and stuff in advance and get set up. Got to Dead Cow Gully like Friday afternoon, set up my marquee, and that I pretty much just finished setting up. And I was just kind of sitting down and having a break, and then I get a phone call, and it's from the school where my wife works. And yeah, they're explaining that she's fallen and broken her ankle, and yeah, asking if I can come and pick her up. And I'm like, well, I'm in Brisbane at the moment, like I can't get there. And yeah, asked to speak to Jem. She doesn't even remember talking to me, but I spoke to her for a little bit on the phone, and she's like, I'm sorry, I'm not getting on a plane tomorrow, blah blah blah. Yeah. And yeah, I was just like, yeah, my first concern was, is she going to be all right? We had to sort out, getting her to hospital. So they said that they were organising an ambulance. We had to sort out getting the kids from school and all of that. So my mother-in-law and my stepdaughter were really good helping out in that aspect. And then like kind of once the dust had settled a little bit, yeah, when she got into emergency room, it's like, okay, yeah, like what's happening now? It's like, do you need me to come home? And she's like, no, you got to do your race. You're already there. And yeah, like, and then we're like, okay, so what are we going to do about crewing? I already had a few other people helping with crew. So worst case scenario, if we didn't fill a spot, we'd still get by. But yeah, kind of didn't stress about it too much. Just wanted to make sure she was going to be okay. But yeah, once she'd kind of settled into the emergency room and stuff like that, she'd started looking into if she can transfer flights around and things like that. So yeah, it turned out that we could transfer flights. There's just a $99 fee, and then it's like, well, who do we get from Perth to come out? And got in contact with Gabby. So we've kind of contacted her. It was about 9 o'clock Brisbane time, so 7 o'clock Perth time, asking her basically if she can come crew and can she get on the plane tomorrow at 6 a.m. And by this time, I kind of had to go to bed because it was already, past the time I wanted to go to bed. I had a big race the next day and wanted to have a good sleep. So I kind of just left it in Gemma and Gabby's capable hands to make all the arrangements and sort it out. And got up in the morning and it was confirmed that Gabby was coming out. And so she was able to get on the plane. There was a little drama that she almost missed her plane because she slept in, which I didn't find out until about just today. I was listening to a podcast that she was doing where she mentioned that, but she never mentioned it to me before. So yeah, a bit of drama, but yeah, she got there in the end. She was able to jump in and crew for the time that Gemma was meant to be there. She's crewed for me a few times before in shorter stints. And, we've worked together for a long time. She knows how I operate. She knows how my plan works. So she just slotted in really well. And, on top of that, so I also had Akana and Callum, who were crewing from lap 1 until Tuesday midday. And then at that point, I also had Nathan come in. So he was there from Tuesday midday until the end. And then Tim Moffat as well. So once his race had finished and he'd had a good sleep, he came in and jumped on and helped. So it actually worked out really well with the timings for everything. So
it was I saw Akana and Callum crewing you, and I think it was the first time that they crewed for you in a backyard ultra, and it looks like it was like they brought a really like fresh, fun vibe to your marquee.
Yeah, I mean, they're great, and it's very hard to be sad around them. They just bring this positive energy into the tent, and yeah, they've never crewed for me before, but they're runners themselves. The way that I structure my plans and my, set up my tent and my organisation and stuff, it's kind of done in a way that anyone should just be able to jump in and figure it out and be able to, follow the plan. So yeah, I try to make that side of things as easy as I can for them. But yeah, they adapted to it really well, and they did a great job and super like motivating, like energetic, and yeah, wasn't afraid to do my foot bars and foot massages and things like that. So yeah, it was really good.
Yeah. Now thinking, I mean, it sounds like this like issue didn't rattle you too much. Have you always been like that? Like, say, for example, if this happened like 2 or 3 years ago, do you reckon you would have got a bit rattled by the whole situation?
I think I would have been more rattled, yeah. But yeah, I think I've just had enough experience now and kind of got things to the point where, yeah, if something like that happens, I can just adapt and overcome. There was a whole thing like, yes, it sucked that I didn't have Jem coming to crew for me, but then I'm also worried about, how is she doing back at home? And I didn't really talk to her too much about it, but like I knew that she was going in for surgery on Tuesday, which seemed like a long time away, but at the same time, like that'll probably only be halfway through my race at that point. So yeah, there was a bit of concern for her and how she'd be feeling back home, and I think she was probably more upset about missing the event than actually breaking her ankle. But yeah, I tried not to to dwell on that too much. Like, you know, I was already there and I had a job to do, and the last thing Gemma would want to do is see me, see me drop out early because, you know, I'm stressing about her too much. Or so it was just like I just had to give it all I had.
Yeah. And how's she doing now? Is she? I mean, she's obviously on the mend. Like it looks pretty bad. The photo was pretty graphic.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So she broke her fibula. She broke, I think, 2 of her ankle bones. It was dislocated. So yeah, it's all been kind of put back together now. She's got a cast on. She can't weight bear for 6 weeks. So yeah, now it's basically my turn to wait on her to pay back for all the times she's been waiting on me. So
Yeah.
swings and roundabouts.
Yeah. Now there is a rumor going around, and I have had it debunked by Gabby herself, but I want to hear it from you. The rumor is that you took noodles off your plan because you were tired of people saying, eat your noodles.
No, I actually don't mind people saying that. I think it's funny. I took the noodles off the plan at Sat Champs. So at Sat Champs, they were still on the plan, but then Mally was making the burritos like so good that I'm just like, I don't want noodles. I want another burrito. So we swapped the noodles out for burritos. So yeah, for Dead Cow Gully, I did take noodles and I had some packets of noodles there, but they just weren't on the plan. They're just kind of like a backup food. So I think they will still always be a part of my nutrition plan, whether it's either on the plan or as a backup. I think like if I go to Biggs, there's very limited cooking facilities there, so the noodles might be more of a go-to because it's, you know, just add hot water. But yeah, I definitely didn't get sick of people saying eat your noodles. I find that quite funny.
So the night before the race started, like, I mean, I was there and the whole place like got so quiet so early. I reckon about 7:30 at night, the whole place was like dead. Did you have a good night's sleep the night before and everything like that?
Yeah, I did. Well, as good as I could have. Like, I wanted to get to bed earlier. Like, I was thinking around that 7:30, 8 o'clock time. But then there was an issue with crew that we're trying to sort out. And we kind of had that sorted just before I went to bed. I literally messaged Gabby saying, like, Jem's going to call you to sort it out because I got to go to bed now. Like, I'm already up too late. But from the indication that I'd had was that, yeah, Gabby's going to be able to come out. So then I could sleep a little bit easier, like not stressing about it. I think I woke up like once or twice in the middle of the night to go to the toilet and I checked my phone and yeah, it was confirmed that Gabby was coming. So then I was happy with that. And yeah, but each time I got up, I was able to get back down and get to sleep really well. So I think, yeah, I did have a pretty solid sleep and woke up feeling pretty good.
Yeah. Well, you definitely looked relaxed the morning of the race and the night before. Is that also an area where you think you've improved? I mean, I don't know. Like, have you always been relaxed, or is this something that you're even better at now? You're even better at relaxing before a race.
Yeah, I think before a race, I still get nerves. But yeah, I'm probably getting better at it because I know that the nerves are going to come, but I know that as soon as the race starts, they're all going to disappear. So when those nerves come, I don't really like try to get too caught up on it. But yeah, it's like as soon as you start lap 1 and you start running, it's like you just, you know, just straight into game mode basically, and yeah, don't really have those stresses anymore. And it's just, you know, I just going out there and do what I do. So my approach is, I think it's a bit more like calm and confident. So, you know, I know that this is a long race, so I'm not really getting caught up on the little things early on. It's every time I go out and stand at that start line, it's like, I've just got a job to do here. I'm just going to go and run this lap. And I'm just, calm and confident about it. And that's no matter what else is going on, whatever problems are happening, I just try and remain calm.
Yeah. So you ran at the Dead Cow Gully Masters in 23 when you broke the world record with 102 yards. I was there as well. And back then the field was small. It was about 45 runners. But But back then there was a different feeling in the air. Back then that kind of like there was a bit of tension in the air. But this year it felt totally different. This year it felt like a backyard ultra celebration. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like the next closest thing to the world champs, because we had so many different countries represented there, for like a small Australian outback community to have people from the USA, Spain, Japan, New Zealand. Like there was just a good mix of people. You knew straight away, like with the big four, as we were called. Having those people who've easily run over 100 yards before, like you just know it's going to be a big event. And it was just good. Like you've got people coming in who might be doing their first backyard and they're excited to be up there rubbing shoulders with the people that have run 80, 90, 100 yards plus. And I think like for me, like it was good. Just I did a lot of my early laps a lot slower, and it was good just kind of sitting towards the back of the field and chatting with different people who I wouldn't normally chat with. And everyone was just so excited, and they knew that it was like there was a strong feeling that this was going to be a big event. Like you could never know for sure, but with the caliber of athletes that we had there, you kind of got that feeling that something special was going to happen this week.
Now, I think I read somewhere that the first 24 hours of this race was another tough period. Was that physical or mental?
I think both. So I talked about Sydney before, how that was probably my worst first 24 hours. I did have a bit of nausea this time as well. It wasn't a horrible night, like it wasn't too bad, but out of the 5 nights that I ran through, the first night was probably the hardest. And I think kind of knowing that this event is likely going to go for 4 days or more, those earlier hours, they're so tough mentally to get through, because it can feel like you've run for so long, but still not got very far. People will tell you, like I was having conversations with them in those first 2 days. We were talking about, I've got the decision to make whether to do the 24-hour world champs or the Big's backyard world champs. And I was telling him, there's no way I'm doing one of these again. Like I'll just do something good here, and that'll be a good way to do my last backyard, and then I can go focus on the 24-hour. Because those first 24, 48 hours, I don't know, it's just I've just asked myself, why am I doing another one of these? Why have I signed up for this again? And it can be really tough to get through mentally. Like physically, the body's holding up because it's still early days. Although I think my feet probably felt the worst on day 2. I think after that, I don't know, they either stopped hurting or I just kind of got used to it. But yeah, it can feel like you've been out there a very long time, and then when you think about it, it's like, well, I've only really done one day. Like it's not a whole lot in the whole scheme of things.
So are you developing, or did you use any strategies just to get through that, or are you developing strategies to get through that, or is it just like talking to people more? I think talking to people is a big one. So I had a lot of good conversations out there, with like familiar friends, but also just new people who was meeting for the first time. And I just have to bring it back to that one lap at a time. Like it's so important. And I think more so in those early days, because you can get caught up in thinking, oh, I've got to do this for another 4 days. But, you just got to focus on that lap. It's like, okay, what time do I need to come in this lap? When I get back from this lap, what am I doing? Am I eating? Am I having a shower? Am I having a sleep? And you just focus on that, and you just got to have patience, like those laps will just tick through. They might tick through slowly at the start, but you're going to reach a point where you just kind of reach the zone. And I think your concept of time changes the deeper you get into it. So at the start, like 1 hour can feel like a long time, and you got a very clear, you're very coherent, and exactly how long you've been on course. You can think back to when you started that lap. Whereas when you get deeper into it, you've been there like 3 or 4 days, like the laps can kind of blur into each other, or you can be like halfway through a lap and then not even realize how long you were out there for.
you could have started the lap half an hour ago, but you can't think back that far, or so I think it gets easier that way, that you almost like your time and reality is just kind of blurred a little bit. So it doesn't feel like you've been out on the lap for 45 minutes. You just, before you know it, you're almost at the end, and it's like, oh, I didn't even realize I was this close to the end. So I think it does get easier in a way as the deeper you get into it.
Yeah. So Tim Moffat, who you coach, he also crewed you after he finished, and I mean, he's obviously also a friend of yours. Were you keeping?
And he's the winner of Hurdies as well.
Yeah. Were you keeping an eye on him while he was out there running?
Yeah, so we were having a few good chats out there. When he came, the lap before he DNF'd, he was talking about he was having nutritional issues. So I got Gabby to come and have a chat with him. There wasn't a lot of time though, because he wasn't making the lap with much time. So I was like, if Gabby can talk to his crew and they can come up with a plan. I saw him at the start of that lap, of the next lap. And for me, because this was in the middle of the night, for me, that was a fast lap. But I knew that the lap after it was going to be a slow lap. So my plan was I was going to run out to the halfway, turn around and come back. And when I saw him on the way back, I was going to say, just get through this lap, because the next lap I've got a slow one and I'll run with it. I will run together. And then I never saw him on the way back. So he'd got so far up into that lap and decided to turn back. So I didn't get the chance. And if I knew that he was that close, I might have switched my plan around a little bit. But I mean, he did so well. He beat his PB. 42 he ended up on. So I'm pretty proud that he got to that point, and it was good to chat with him out on course, and there was a good bit of banter there. So
So from speaking to some other runners, it sounds as though the night loop this year was actually a little bit tougher than people expected. Like there were the Bandicoot holes and tussock grass sections. So how do you compare it to the road loop 2 years ago?
Yeah, I much prefer the road loop. I was gutted when Tim told me he'd taken it out. I understand the reasons why. Like, obviously, there was a lot more people this year. And, there were a few problems with cars last time. But, I mean, he did the best he could do to make a good alternate night course. It was still a lot faster than what the day course would have been at night. But like the first 2Ks up to the gully was really good, and then you went into the gully and out the other side, and then the terrain was a bit rougher there. But what I found was actually moving at a faster speed through that area, it actually was easier to run on. And even later, I think like the fourth night when I was running with Jashi, and he actually made the comment to me as well. It was like, oh, it's actually easier running this faster. Whereas those same sections when I was running in the day and I had better visibility, I think it was a little bit harder because I was just so concerned about my foot placement and stuff like that. Whereas at night you couldn't really tell, when I just kind of ran by blind faith. And it's kind of like maybe I just glide over the top a bit more. But like I was able to run most of the night lap, which meant I could get in for more sleep. I think the only bits I really walked was coming in and out of the gully, and that was a good kind of 2Ks into it. So it was a good spot to just have that little walk break. 2Ks in and then 2Ks before the end.
Yeah. Now, there are a lot of runners. There's so many runners who ran big PBs and had really good performances. Were there any runners in particular that stood out to you and impressed you?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed watching Jashi tackle these backyards. So from the first time I heard of him, when he ran Reds and he did that 57 to get on the Sat Chance team, and then he did 75, and then he did 81, and now he's just shot up to 100. Like, he's just been super consistent. Like, he hasn't had a bad race. He's just constantly improving. So I was really excited to see how far he could go. And I actually did get to run with him a bit more towards the end, and just enjoyed some of the conversations that we had out there. Simon from New Zealand, who ran 90, I had some great conversations with him out there towards the end, and he's someone who I think he's going to hit 100 soon. I'd like to see what he does at Bigs, and I hadn't even heard of him before Dead Cow Gully, but I think his PB was in the 60s. I'm not sure on that.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, to go from that to 90, like that was super impressive. Holly Ranson, I've enjoyed watching her races for a while. I was excited to see how far she'd go in this. So I know she's done a few backyards before. One of them had to stop early because of weather. The other one, I think she was the assist with 38. But she's just done some really good things in the 24-hour space. She's running like almost the same distance that I'm running in 24 hours. So yeah, I was really excited to see what she could do. And yeah, she smashed the female record, second last female standing. And yeah, I did actually talk with her and said, okay, if you run long enough here to get on the at-large list, will you go to Bigs? Because then she'll have the same choice between Bigs and the 24-hour, but I think her heart's in the 24-hour.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe in another couple of years we'll see her there, but I think she's someone who can take out the female world record. But yeah, and then, I mean, just even like not looking at the people who did the big numbers, or big as in, 3 days plus. Like I was running with some people who, their goal was to, get to 12 hours, and then they've gone and run 24 and stuff like that. So like, I'm really impressed by that. Like they might have never run a backyard before, and they've come in thinking, oh yeah, I can do like 10 or 12 yards. And then 24 hours later, they're still there. So I like to, that's the sort of stuff I like to see as well. It's not always about, who's in the top 10 or anything like that.
Yeah. You did mention Jashi's performance, and he's made no secret that like he admires like the way you go about it and how meticulous you are with your race planning and things like that. So, I mean, how awesome was it to have him join you in the 100 Club?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I was so proud of him, and then I don't know. I was expecting him to keep going, and I'm like, yeah, 101, and he's not there, and it's like, oh, okay. But yeah, I did say to him, it'd be pretty cool if you and me can be the last two, and we can run the last laps together. But yeah, he just couldn't hold on long enough. But he's definitely like, yeah, I'm excited to see how far he goes at Bigs and at his future backyards, because the way he goes about things, he's just really consistent. And yeah, even on that night 4 when I was running my fast laps and he was running as well, and we were able to maintain the same pace, like he was still moving so well. And yeah, so I think if he can do that, it means he gets more sleep in, and yeah, like he's got a lot of potential there. And now that he's got into the 100 Club once, I'm sure he's going to be able to do it again.
Yeah. So when something like that happens in a race, like Jashi breaking 100, are you able to like break away a little bit from like race mode and soak in the emotion and celebrate with Jashi at all?
By that point, it was kind of like I was going through the motions. Like even when I got to my own PB, it was like, oh yeah, cool, this is like the PB lap. But it was like, job's not done yet. It's like, I was still going to be there. Like I still felt like I was going to be there for a long time. So it was almost like just a formality. It's like, oh yeah, okay, we've got to 100, tick that box, cool. Got to a new Australian record, cool, tick that box. And I didn't really get too caught up in it all. It was just, yeah, like it didn't, I don't know, it didn't really require a big celebration. It was just, that was just part of the race, and job's not finished yet.
Yeah, fair enough. So Wednesday, to me, it looked like it was definitely the toughest of the days as far as the weather goes, because there was not a cloud in the sky. And from pretty early in the morning, those sun rays were beating down like laser beams from like 8 in the morning. So was that definitely the toughest day?
Yeah, I think it was definitely the hottest day. I actually even started doing my laps quicker. So normally like my day leaps, I was trying to do them quite slow, like over 50 minutes. I think my slowest was like maybe 56 minutes. That might have been my first lap. But yeah, because I just want to conserve that energy out on course. But it was just getting too hot. It's like, there's no point being out in the sun for too long. Let's just run it a bit quicker, get in, and I can sit, under the fan, under the shade. But yeah, it kind of, I think day 5 did feel like it went a lot quicker. Because we got to the 100, or we got to the 96, like the 4 days, that was pretty cool. Got to the 100, and then 103, that was when Oreo and Marin dropped out. You're already halfway through the day by that point. So because you kind of had all those things happening in the first part of the day, I think it just made the day feel like it went a bit quicker. But yeah, like I was still moving pretty well at that point, and yeah, I thought if I could just run quicker and maximize my time in the shade, I didn't really let the heat get to me too much. Like, yes, it was annoying, but yeah, and I kind of just reflected a bit on the time that I was spending in the sauna and stuff like that, and it's like, this is all fine. Like, you've trained for this.
Yeah.
I had my ice collar as well. I think that was the first day where I actually bought the ice collar out, like first thing. Like, I had it on probably like 8 a.m. Whereas like before that, it was like it would get halfway through the afternoon and I'd be like, oh, maybe I should get the ice collar now. So I think a lot of that heat training that I did has paid off. But yeah, like it was definitely one of the hottest days, but it seemed to go a bit quicker than the other days. So maybe not as hard.
Yeah. And I mean, the breeze, it was light, but it was a beautiful cooling breeze as well. But one of the things I noticed with all the runners who were there that day, they were all like wearing like long sleeves. I mean, you were even wearing gloves. So how important is it just to cover up and protect yourself from the sun in those kind of conditions?
Yeah, so those sleeves and those gloves that I use, they're actually like a cooling material. So as you sweat, it just helps with that evaporative cooling. And yeah, obviously also as well to keep the sun off you. So it's just, like that sunscreen, there's something you got to stay on top of, because if you get burnt, that can ruin your race. You can, it can make you dehydrated. It's sore and uncomfortable. And so yeah, I've got on my plan, when I need to, each lap where I need to apply sunscreen. And yeah, as long as I've got those arm sleeves and those gloves on, then I know my arms and hands are protected. It's important to stay on top of that sort of stuff. And the ice collar as well just helps cool you down.
Yeah. Now, when you broke 100, how would you compare how you were feeling to when you broke 100 2 years ago?
Oh, like 1,000 times better.
Yeah.
Like, I think when we got it before, it was like I would say I was feeling pretty good then, but I kind of knew in the back of my head, like, I just have to hold on here to help Sam get to that 101 so then I can go do 102. Whereas this time it was like, I got to 100 and it's like, well, we still got ages ahead of us. Like, I didn't, I was kind of in the zone. Like, I think from like the third day onwards, I was just in the zone, and it was reaching points where I just even said to my crew, like, is it meant to feel this effortless? Like, for some reason, I was running better in the second half of the race than I was in the first.
Yeah. So when the race did come down to you and Sam Harvey, which people call the Tango in the Nango, I mean, it looked to me like you were locked into like the best possible vibe, and it looked like you were loving it. It looked like you were just loving adding onto your PB and later on adding on to the world record. So how did your mindset did your mindset change when the race came down to just you and Sam?
Not really. Like, I kind of knew, like, he'd come into it saying he's getting 150 laps. He was determined to go home with the world record. So I knew at that point, when it was just us two, lap 103 or 104, whatever it was, I knew that he, this wasn't going to be finishing anytime soon, even though, like, you could tell he was struggling with a few issues, like he had that problem with his Achilles or something. and he was taking his time to come in on the laps. I knew, like, I didn't have to say anything to motivate him. I knew he was motivated, and he wanted to. He was there on a mission, and yeah, I was there to just follow my plan. And I think in a way it made it easier. Like sometimes when it gets down to the last two, you can just be looking at each other thinking, oh, he's going to drop soon. If it was anyone else other than Sam, I might have just been trying to predict when they're going to stop. But with Sam, I'm just like, it doesn't matter what condition he's in. He's going to keep pushing through until he's squeezed out absolutely everything that he's got. So mentally in my head, I'm still prepared to be there for a long time, even though he looks like he's at death's door.
Yeah. Were you allowing yourself to think ahead to milestones like the world record?
Like I know that they're coming up, but I'm not super focused on it. Like I'm still, like at any point in the race, I'm still not even trying to think about what lap that I'm on. It did come up when there was a lap where like I'd see Sam at the same point every time on my return leg. There was one time where I came back and he wasn't there. He was a bit further back. And I quickly asked him, oh, like, what's wrong? Like, trying to work out why I was a bit slower. He's like, oh, my other Achilles has just blown. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm trying to do the maths and thinking, what lap are we on? How far are we from the world record? Because I didn't want to get that close and miss out. So I remember coming back in and talking to my crew, like, Sam, he was a bit behind on that lap. I think he will make it in time because, he's Sam. He'll find something. But we could be getting close the next few laps. And, so we're trying to calculate how many more laps does Sam need to do for me to be able to run a new world record. And I think we're like 3 or 4 off. So I was a little bit concerned that with his Achilles or his other Achilles blowing that he might sort of struggle through that. On the next lap, I would always start off like pretty quick. And we would see each other at the start line, and then I was always the one off first, and we wouldn't see each other again till I came back after the turnaround. But on the next lap, I stopped at the toilet first, and then so he got a bit ahead of me, and then so when I could run, I could catch up to him and have a quick chat, and I just wanted to see where he was at. We ran together a lot at the end of Dead Cow 2 years ago, like to work together to get to that record. And I kind of didn't really want to have to do that again, but I did ask him, I did offer, do you need someone to run with you? And he's like, no, I'll get it done. And then I was kind of just a bit relieved that I could still kind of do my own thing and just had to have trust in him that he would get it done. And yeah, he did, like, to his credit, he did start moving a little bit better. Like, I think his next lap was a little bit faster and he seemed to be consistently coming in around the 52, 53. But yeah, in the meantime, I was just focusing on doing my laps and, I knew what I had to do on my plan, and I just had to have faith in him that he was determined to get to the record. And like, I was still thinking he's come in saying 150. So I would not be surprised if I was still here running on Friday. Yeah. And so I wasn't kind of building it up in my head that, he's almost done, because I didn't want to be mentally tapping out too early.
Yeah.
So I just, as long as Sam was still in it, I knew that he could go a long way.
Yeah. Now, I remember reading about your run in the 24-hour race when you did at 270 kilometres. And you wrote about how towards the end of the race you ran faster than you had planned just because you were feeling really good. But doing that, doing something like that wasn't part of your plan was a little bit out of character. And it sounded like you were even a little bit surprised yourself that you did that. Yeah. So did running those faster Ks in the 24-hour race change anything about how you've run subsequent backyard ultras, specifically Dead Cow Gully?
Not really. Like with the 24-hour one, part of the reason for that was as well, like my watch died. Uh-huh. In the last hour it died, so I couldn't track on my watch how fast I was going. So I ended up just going a little bit faster because I wanted to be sure that I was going to do the distance that I needed. And then I was trying to do the calculations as I was running past the main clock at the start. And it worked out like, hang on, I might actually get to 270 here. So I just kept pushing and pushing because I'd already passed my PB, and now I was like, if I keep pushing, might be able to get that 270. So that was part of the reason for that one. But yeah, I think like, if anything, like it did make me realize that I can still run at a quicker pace when I'm quite deep into an ultra. But I mean, my plan's always been the same. Like it might have looked like I was doing quite fast laps towards the end of Dead Cow, but that was just probably in comparison to Sam. Like when he's coming in at 53, like my plan, it said to come in at like 41, 42 minute laps. So that's what I was doing. I wasn't trying to run particularly quick. It's just like that's the speed that was on my plan.
Yeah.
And you know, if we'd made it through to the day, you would have seen my lap times slow right back down again. Right. Now, if we were running Thursday during the day, I would have dropped right back to like 52 minutes. So it just happened. It just so happened that it looked like I was getting fast towards the end because of the time of day that it was, basically.
Mm. When I had Tim Walsh on the podcast before the race, I told him how I really liked how aggressive Sam Harvey was last year when he won Dead Cow Gully with 69 yards. And this year when it got down to just you and Sam, I mean, the way you were running your loops was, I mean, to me, it looked like the most aggressive backyard ultra racing I've ever seen. I mean, it was just part of your plan, like you said, but
yeah,
and Sam was just holding on loop after loop, and it was making it the most intriguing final two of a backyard ultra I've ever seen. You did touch on this before, but how glad are you that this was like a true head-to-head battle from beginning to end, and you didn't have to kind of like nurse Sam through the last few yards to get to that world record?
Yeah, like it was good. Like I was, like we're both very strong independent runners. Like we don't need to hold each other's hand or anything to get through. So, yeah, it was good that I could just do my own thing and stick to my plan, because you know that's what's going to help me go the furthest, and let him do his thing. That's going to help him go the furthest. There would have been no point me trying to run with him and, you know, help him get through, because he was going to do that on his own. Like he didn't want me to win. He was there to win for himself, and he was going to hang on for as long as it took. And yeah, basically until he couldn't hold on anymore. But yeah, like I was pretty, yeah, as I said before, like even from lap one, it's like at the start of each lap, you know, I'm calm, I'm confident, you know, I know what I'm capable of, I know what's on my plan, I know what needs to be done. Just focus on that lap, and it doesn't matter what the other person is doing. I'm just going to do my thing. Like if Sam had decided to sprint off and do some fast laps, you know, it wouldn't have rattled me. I would have just done my same plan, the same pace that I've got on there. So yeah, I think I've gotten a lot better at like staying in my own headspace.
Yeah. So you did kind of answer this before, but you were prepared to alter your strategy if necessary to reach that world record if need be, or like you wouldn't have, like if you saw Sam was struggling, you wouldn't have just gone whack and ended the race like 2 yards before the world record.
Yeah, like as I mentioned, I did have a quick chat with him on one of the laps, asked him if he was okay. If he really needed me to run with him to help him get through to those world record laps, then I would have. But as I said, he was pretty determined to do it on his own. And yeah, I don't know what me running next to him, if that would have helped at all. So yeah, it was just easier for me to do my own thing and trust that he would do his own thing. And yeah, obviously that worked in the end. So we both got to that record and then a couple more. So
yeah, perfect. So in sports at the highest level, some athletes will like elevate their performance through a period of time where they become like untouchable. Like, you know, I'm talking about athletes like Michael Jordan, Andre Agassi, Dustin Martin. Those last 15 yards that you ran, to me, it looked like you were like in that kind of rare air. Were you feeling something special? Like, were you feeling different in the
Yeah,
last 15 yards?
I was definitely feeling like I was in the zone pretty much from even like I think the third day, but I think it just like got better as it went on. And like I was actually finding myself really looking forward to the nights, because the nights I'm a lot more like methodical. Like I've got a purpose. Like I have to run this lap in 41, 42 minutes, because then that means I get this amount of sleep time. And it's like as soon as I come in, like I've got stuff to do. Whereas like on the day laps, it's like I just run it casually. You know, when I come in, I don't have much to do. It's like I might sit down. It's like, you know, I might sit on my phone for a bit, or I might, you know, have something extra to eat or whatever, or have a chat with my crew. Like there's not really a plan. But at night, like I was just locked in. It's like I'm running this lap at 42 minutes. When I get back, I'm going to have a quick bite to eat. I'm going to lie down. I'm going to get 12 minutes of sleep. My crew's going to wake me up. Going to grab my stuff, and I'm going to walk out to the start line, and I'm going to do that again. And I think having that more of a purpose just made me run a lot better. Whereas, yeah, the days was more like I'm just passing time until I get to the night time, and then I'm locked in.
Yeah. I'm just thinking this right now. Like, is that the way you think? Do you always have a list of things in your head that you're going to do? Like, okay, I'm going to do this now, and then like you sort of plan your day in your mind, like before it happens.
As in, like, for what I do during the break.
Or no, just in life, like not even with running. Like,
I'm probably a lot more organized. Like, I'm a lot more organized in my backyards than I am in everyday life.
right.
Like my backyards, I've got it like every hour, every minute. Like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Whereas in life, I'm just all over the place.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Now, you've broken the world record twice now with Sam Harvey as the assist 2 years apart. And so you and Sam Harvey are kind of like forever going to be linked in backyard ultra folklore.
Yes.
So what kind of relationship do you have with Sam?
Yeah, I don't know, a bit of friendly rivalry, maybe a bit of an unspoken rivalry there. I mean, you saw us at the start line each lap, like we barely spoke. We just stood on opposite sides of the start line, but as I said, like we both knew that we had a job to do, and you know we'd talk to each other like as we passed each other on the after the turnaround point, and we'd pass each other, would, you know, say encouraging words to each other. But I don't think much more really need to be said. We both knew what we were there for. Yeah, so I like it's good in a way, like to have that competitor who he just won't give in easily. He's not going to hand me the win on a silver platter. He's going to make me work for it. He's not just, you know, he doesn't, against all odds, like he doesn't just assume that I'm going to win. Like I could look 10 times better than him, and he's still running because he thinks he's in with a chance, not because he just wants to help me get to a higher number or anything. He's genuinely thinking he's still, as long as he's in it, he's got a chance to win it. And that's it with the backyard as well. Like what would happen if I slept in and I slept through the bell, or, you know, I was a couple of seconds late getting into the corral, or, you know, I tripped out on course somewhere. Like there's a number of things that could happen. Yeah, I think looking at both of us at the start of each lap, it's like it was clear who was the stronger runner. But I think mentally he pushed through a lot to be at that point. Whereas me, I was having a great time, like physically, like I was feeling really good. So it's easy for me to push when everything's going well. But whereas he's just on another level, like mentally, to push through that pain.
Yeah. Now, I know you've posted a photo of it on Instagram already, but can you tell me about the gift Sam gave you when the race ended?
Yeah, so it was a bracelet, which I assume he's worn the whole race as his little mantra or whatever. It just says "win the fucker." So it's kind of cool. It's like he was there to win it, and he didn't win it, so then he passed the bracelet on to me. So it's a nice little kind of memento to have. But yeah, I thought it was a nice gesture of him to hand that over.
Yeah, I did too. I love it. I think you guys are you're very different people. Like you look totally different. You go about things totally different, but you're the perfect rivals.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like, not a lot needs to be said. Like, I just let my actions do the talking. Like, I just go up there and I just do my thing. And I mean, yeah, Sam likes to talk a lot and come in saying, oh, yeah, he's going to come home with a world record and he's going to run 150 laps or whatever. I don't get caught up in those big numbers or, you know, announcing big claims. I'm just like, I'm just here to do a job. I've got a plan. This, you know, it works for me. I'm just going to follow it and let's just see how far that takes me. So I'm a bit more relaxed, I think.
Yeah. Now, when you broke the world record last time, you made, or you got a run of t-shirts made. Are you going to make a 119 t-shirt?
Yes, yes. I have been working on that the last couple of days. So there will be an updated design coming out. And yeah, there'll be some other merch as well, which will be announced soon.
Oh, awesome. Now, you're so honest and sharing with your tactics and race plan and everything like that. But are there any little secrets that you're just keeping to yourself that you won't share till your racing days are done?
No, I'm an open book. Like, if you want to know something, just ask me. Like, there's no gatekeeping or anything here. If I can help other people go further, you know, I'm all for it. So, yeah, just ask me anything. I'm not hiding anything. What you see is what you get with me. So, yeah, I'm happy to help, and yeah, to see that the next generation of runners come through, and yeah, hopefully we just keep, you know, pushing these limits, and if I can play a small role in that, then I will.
Yeah, awesome. Now, at the end of the race, you kind of alluded that you would run at the 24-hour track worlds instead of bigs, but during this conversation, it sounds like you still aren't sure. So are you still weighing up your options?
Yeah, like, I'm probably leaning towards bigs.
Right.
I don't know. Like, I kind of feel like on one hand, it's like, well, I've just done the world record for a second time. You know, do I have much to prove in the backyard space? But then at the same time, it's like, well, you know, the world champs winner is just one thing I don't have to my name. So maybe I do need to go back to bigs. Like, logistics wise, it's a lot more complicated. There's a lot more stuff I need to try and work out. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it'd be stupid not to go to bigs, wouldn't it? Like, as much as I love the 24-hour as well, and I'd love to see how far I can push myself in that distance. Like, I think as a world record holder, I kind of am obligated to go to bigs. I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't have anything to prove in that space, but it would still be cool to win bigs, and I do have unfinished business there.
Yeah, well, look, I was going to say that, like, it is one thing that you haven't done, like, win the individual world championships at bigs. And if I mean, if you did that, like, I mean, it would be, you'd be elevated to legend status in the
Yeah.
backyard ultra world for sure.
And then I could retire and just focus on 24 hours.
So I think last time you were on, you said you were interested in running backyard ultras in other countries like Belgium, like Legends in Belgium.
Yeah.
Is something a race is still like that you're still attracted to?
Yeah, so like, I just want to look at where all the big players are going. So to see what they did at Legends this year, like, I spoke to Lukash a bit after he got the record, and the way that he was running in the times that he was doing, it just seemed very similar to me. Like, he was running 42-minute laps right up until 116. And so when I was running Dead Cow and I'm running those same laps, it's like, well, obviously this is a formula that works. So what's going to happen if you put me and Lukash together? So I think, yeah, that's probably another reason why I'm leaning towards bigs, because I'm pretty sure he's going to be there.
Yeah.
And I've had a few chats with him online, and he seems like a really cool bloke, and it would be good to run with him. And I think we could together, you know, push the world record quite a bit further. But yeah, I mean, that's, yeah, if we talk about backyards in other countries, yeah, like Legends is one which seems to get big numbers each year. That'd be a good one to go to, and just, yeah, to run with some of those European runners who, you know, it might be better to run on a more enjoyable course rather than bigs, because that's another thing holding me back from bigs. It's just a horrible course. I just hate the day course. The night course is fine, but just the day course and the facilities and stuff are not. It's not what you'd think for like a world championships. Like it's very yeah, like it's you get like half a marquee each. You get one crew for the whole time. There's a few kind of limitations on you. But I think that's the nature of it. Like that's that's the original home of it, and it is cool that it's got that aspect. But it would also be good to go to somewhere like Legends or one of those bigger international ones that have got like really good facilities set up and can have a few more crew and stuff like that.
Now, I'm tipping that the SAT champs are going to forever be a permanent fixture on your year or every second year for you.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's just really good to have that team aspect, and I think if I cut back on the number of backyards I do, because these events they're just getting too long. Like how many of them can you do each year? Yeah, and I don't want to go into a backyard just to do 24 hours or something like that. If I'm in it, I'm in it till the end. So I think, having said that, I think that the SAT champs would be a good one to do every 2 years because it's, representing the country and, I can really add a few yards to the country's total. And, we got second to Belgium last time. Can we beat them next time? Like we've got some really strong runners. Like now seeing Jashi do into the hundreds, and Ryan's not far off of that. And I think other Aussies as they're working their way onto the at-large list, we're going to start to see some bigger numbers. So people can see that these aren't just fluke one-off occasions like freak athletes getting above 100. There's more and more people doing it, so people are going to have more belief in themselves that they can get there as well.
Yeah. Now, as far as bigs goes, I mean, if you had to put your life on it, do you think the world record will fall at bigs?
2 years ago, I would have said no because I just thought that course wasn't conducive to a world record. But then seeing that Harvey did get the world record on that course, and given how I felt at the end of 119 hours, given how Lukash looked at the end of 116 hours, I think put us two together, even if it's a horrible course, I think we could still give it a nudge. And if not us two, like there's going to be so many other strong athletes there who can go pretty far. And yes, the course isn't ideal. Yes, the facilities aren't ideal. But as long as you've got like a strong mindset and you can maintain your physical form, then sky's the limit.
Yeah, and Harvey Lewis will be back. He always produces his best at bigs.
Yeah, definitely. So he could be up there with Lukash and myself. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, like making predictions and all that, because again, like I don't go in chasing the big numbers. I just follow my process, stick to my plan, and it's worked for me for my last few races, and it's like it's only getting better each time. So
yeah. Did you learn anything from this race? Like, did you pick any areas where you can improve?
Just like little things. Like I trialed a system where, like I've talked before about how I have different pace groups for different laps. Like I've got like quick, slow, or quick, average, and recovery. I think that the importance of that was kind of exemplified to me. Just really mixing up those pace groups, and then even like running with Jashi and him, on night 4 when he's suddenly running faster, saying this is actually feeling easier. It just made me realize the importance of that. So I think having those different pace groups and sticking to them is key. I actually purposely ran my first day a lot slower than I normally would. And you can see like Tim Moffat did a graph, and you can see I actually get gradually quicker over time. So a little thing that I did this time, having those pace groups is one thing, but trying to remember what pace you're running when you're out there. I don't know if you saw, but I was wearing different coloured wristbands. So my crew at the start of, like, during the break would give me a wristband, and that would indicate what pace I'd run at during the lap. So if it was a quick lap, it was a green wristband. If it was an average lap, it was yellow. And if it was slow, it was red. So they'd put that on me during the break, and then they wouldn't have to, like, say anything to me or, like, remind me what pace I'm running at, because I've got the wristband when I'm out there running and I'm thinking, oh, hang on, what pace am I meant to be running this at? Just look at the wristband. Yeah. And that system, it just works so well. Like, every lap was just locked in, whereas previous events I've been out there running is like, was this an average lap or a recovery lap? And it's like, I'll just do average just in case, because, I can't remember. And, you end up exerting extra energy when you don't need to. So that system worked really well for me, and that's something that I'll take into other ones.
Yeah.
I think the other thing, like, I didn't learn it at this event, but it's just kind of reinforced that those first couple of days are going to suck, but it does get better. And I think it does, like I've talked about it before, like the third night is the easiest. And I stand by that. Like, nights 1 and 2 were a bit rough to get through, but by the time I started the third night, it was easy. And you do just kind of reach that point where it's like you're just in the zone. That might be at a different spot for different people. But if you're having a real rough time, just keep pushing, because you can reach that point where suddenly running might feel effortless, or you don't have that same concept of time. It just, laps just keep ticking over without you realizing it.
That wristband thing is absolutely ingenious. I don't know how did you think of that?
I think it was at the last, it would have been at Sydney, and I was out there running, and I was just like, what pace am I meant to be running? I couldn't remember. And I'm like, I need a better system, because, normally it's like I leave the 10 and go to walk to the corral, and then like, if I remember, I'll shout back to my crew, oh, what pace am I meant to be running this at? And they'll have a quick look at the plan and they'll tell me. And then even if they do tell me, halfway round, I'm like, hang on, what pace was I meant to be running? And I was like, I just need a better system.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wristbands. Like, if I had wristbands and I just had a color-coded system, like, all I'd have to do is put the wristband on and look at the wristband. And I thought I'd trial it at Dead Cow Gully. I'll see how it works. I had no idea if it would be good or bad, or, would we forget to put the wristband on each time? But it was perfect. Every single lap, I had the right color wristband on. My crew, like, they didn't even need to think about it. I just had the wristbands next to the outbox. So when they were prepping the outbox for the next lap, they'd put that wristband in there, grab that. And it's just one less thing I had to use brain power for. Yeah.
So green is a fast loop, orange is just a medium, and red is recovery.
Yeah.
It's genius.
Yeah.
I normally ask for 3 Backyard Ultra tips at the end of the episode, but you were on not all that long ago. But do you have any tips or just anything that you wanted to add?
Yeah. I was going to say, I feel like I've already given my 3 tips. So that I'll emphasize that wristband one as one of my tips. So having the wristbands to tell you what pace you're running at, but also to make sure you vary your paces. Like, it's just, I think it's so important to just not get locked into, okay, I'm running a 50-minute lap every lap. It's mix it up. You mix up the different muscles that you use. You have different walking breaks out there. You'll find yourself running with different people, because different people will be running different lap times. So I just really want to emphasize the importance of that. Run at different paces and then use the wristbands so you know which one you're running at. What other tips? Just trying to think of something different I did this time that worked really well.
Just while you're thinking, those autopilots look like they're pretty good shoes. And it was pretty cool how Holly Ranson and Nick dropped off that pair for you.
Yeah, that was cool. Because I couldn't really take that much stuff with me, and I'm like, 2 pairs will be fine. And they probably would have been, but because the course was so like wet and dusty and muddy, it's like they were just getting a lot of dirt in it, and I just need a fresh pair of shoes. Like, even though they still had plenty of tread and stuff on them, and they're still, I just need some clean shoes. Okay, I'll put that as my other tip. Make sure you've got enough shoes. Yeah, you don't want to have to send someone a 3-hour drive away to pick some shoes up for you. And I think my other tip, like I've said this before, but I'll just say it again because, you know, people might have not listened to my other episodes, but look after your feet. They're like the most important thing. I don't know if you guys have seen the video of my feet at the end, but they look the same as lap one. Yeah. And so I do foot bars or a shower like once every 12 hours. I actually changed that to, I ended up adding another couple of foot bars in towards the end just because of all the extra dust and stuff. But yeah, wash your feet regularly and look after your feet. So creepers, toe socks, squirrels, nut butter. I use the Tarkine autopilots, but you just want to have a pair of shoes that fit properly. And yeah, a bit of pre-foot care in the lead up as well. Because yeah, you see it so often that people just get taken out of the event because of their feet, or their toes are covered in Fix-A-Mole and, you know, trying to patch it up. And then instead of getting to that point where you need to patch it up, let's just be a bit proactive and look after them before they get to that point. So yeah, look after your feet.
Yeah. Well, that was just like the best race I've ever seen, and your performance was just on another level. Like no one there could believe what they were actually seeing, and how lucky they were to be there to see it. It was just the best race. I'm so happy I was there, and it was a privilege to be able to see you do something to break the world record so dominantly. And I've got no doubt that you're going to keep on building on that world record too. Yeah,
cheers, Pato. And it was great to have you there as well. You know, I heard a lot of good things about the live stream, and people were just glued to it and loved your commentary and all of that. And kind of makes me a bit sad that I was actually running the race and I couldn't watch the live stream. But yeah, no, I heard you did a great job, so thank you.
No worries. Well, thanks, Phil. All the best at Biggs, and we'll definitely keep in touch.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, mate.
Thanks.